What is up, guys? Talking with Tonka, season 2. Oh, I think it's episode 7. I was trying to like not mention like episode numbers now, but here we are. Episode 7, season 2. Today's guest, I'm going to call him the hot sauce goat right now because I'm looking at 5 hot sauces that look delicious. Stephen Gill, what up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. Mammoth Sauce Company. Love the card. It reminds me of like wood.
Yeah, I wanted to go with kind of just a more natural looking like business card and
Yeah, you definitely did that, and then you got the mammoth with the the peppers coming instead of the tusks. That's great, and it's like a business card. I think says a lot about a person and the company, right?
Yeah.
So when you can give a business card, it's like anything else. It's like if it feels or looks cheap and plastic, you're not gonna take this guy seriously, right? This feels like I picked up a piece of wood. Like it feels like wood. It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, that's why on the back of them we include some recipes on how to use our hot sauce, and I figured it's a good way for someone to hold on to the business card and
yeah, they definitely can't throw it out if they want to learn how to make this hot sauce hummus.
Exactly.
Does each business card have a different recipe on it?
So each time I order business cards, I get a different recipe. So I usually do like 2 recipes per batch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm getting low on these ones, so I got to figure out what my next couple recipes are.
Yeah, I love that because it's like, something like I think we were talking before. It's like you would I put my hot sauce on my eggs. I put it on pretty much. I put hot sauce on everything, but it's like I don't want to name that hot sauce, but like I put that shit on everything because that's what I do.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Frank's.
Oh, okay,
that got me started into the hot sauce thing.
Oh, really?
No hate there.
Yeah, I love it's basic, normal flavor. It's basic hot sauce. So I can't wait to dive into these. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have so Johnny was gonna co-host with us today, but he has 2 people on vacation, so he's like, oh man, I can't today. One guy called out, whoa. He's like, so that's why we're still on location here at Johnny's Pizza in Bryn Mawr. Yeah, I'm happy that you came all the way out here from Willow Grove. I know that's not easy. You know what I mean? You a big pizza guy?
Yeah.
You put hot sauce on your pizza?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which one of your lineup do you put on pizza?
It depends on my mood.
Oh wow.
I mean, so like I get high on my own supply. I use
so you got the anti-Scarface method.
Yeah. No, I use my own hot sauces daily because when I was coming up with my recipes and stuff, I made them for what I like. Yeah,
well, that makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Because you know what you like, and that hopefully other people like what you like. And if you have a good palate, then you pretty much are good to go. And that's what I try to tell Johnny too. Is like when he makes his pies, he knows what's going to be good because of the ingredients that go into it. And if anybody heard that episode, I'm pretty sure it was episode 37 on season 1. He goes through on how the ingredients are, right? So the fresher the ingredients, the better everything's going to taste. So is that what you go for when you're making your hot sauce? You're looking at the ingredients and fresh, organic. Where's your thought process go?
Yeah. So I mean, for a lot of my hot sauces, the peppers I get, I usually go down to like the Philadelphia produce wholesale market. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
So that is, they're technically I think at least on the East Coast, but I think in like North America, they're the largest refrigerated warehouse, and essentially all produce from like all over like the world come into this warehouse.
Really?
And you'll see like your supermarkets like ShopRite, Giant, your mom and pop like produce stores. They're all down there buying their produce.
Really?
And it goes like right on the shelf. So usually like the night before I go to cook hot sauce, I'll go down there. They usually, and their hours are odd. It's like 11 p.m. to like 3 a.m. and then they open it back up at like 5 a.m. to like 9 a.m. So I'll go down like the night before, buy all my peppers, all my produce.
Yeah.
And then everything gets made like the next day. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. And I'm just going to pick up the one I'm holding right here. Ghost of 76. Cheesesteak inspired hot sauce. Holy shit.
Yeah, so that's our most recent one.
Yeah.
The first one that we came to market with is actually this one over here.
Okay. Whiz Wit.
Yeah, so that is a cheesesteak inspired hot sauce with serrano and jalapeno peppers. I have like very good friends that are vegan. So I use nutritional yeast in there for like the cheesiness.
This sauce is vegan. Holy shit.
I use smoked chipotle peppers for that smokiness. A ton of caramelized onion, so it's very onion forward.
Yeah.
Obviously pairs very well with the cheesesteak.
Yeah,
Kind of like when I was launching my business, I wanted something to get catch someone's eye that hasn't heard of us before.
Right.
And in the Philadelphia area, I figured like
You can't go wrong with something.
So I kind of like worked backwards. I was like, all right, let's start with a cheesesteak hot sauce. What would go good with that?
Yeah.
And then I kind of work backwards and
yeah. So I'm glad you say work backwards because I think I jumped the gun a little bit. So because I want to work backwards and before we get into each flavor and what goes into them, I know what kind of my podcast don't ever have a direction. So we're going to circle back real quick because you just, triggered something in my brain. So where did Stephen Gill come up with like, I want to become a hot sauce guy?
So we're allowed Chris on here, right?
Yeah, I'm not on the.
I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I get really into things.
Yeah.
Before my first son was born,
okay,
me and my brother had like a woodworking business. Like we were getting like, because my dad has a plumbing business.
Okay.
And so they would work in these places where doing like complete remodels. They'd pull out like old beams and stuff. So like we had all the like my brother would take all the old wood. We'd like refinish it, make like furniture, lamps, all that kind of stuff.
Really?
My son was born, and then like I just didn't have like the time. Because like if you wanted to work on like building like a desk or a table or something like that, like you need hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that because like we had the shop set up in like my parents' garage.
Right.
And so I didn't have time doing that. I got real into like bread baking at one point. Got big into like making my own like kimchi, sauerkraut.
Do you have like a culinary background?
No.
Oh, wow.
I'm just a nerd.
So YouTube University or what?
I like knowing how things work.
Okay.
I went to, I didn't finish college, but I started school for engineering at Temple.
Okay.
Passed all my engineering classes, but it's like the electives that you have to take, like the English and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's where I struggled.
I did terrible and didn't finish at Temple.
Yeah.
Like all my engineering classes, I was like solid. So it's like, I like knowing how things work. So like fermentation was a big thing that kind of like brought me into this. And then, the whole hot sauce thing started with there was one Christmas, I want to say like probably like 2018. I think it was 2018. My wife was like, oh, like let's make everyone gifts this year. She was like, let's save money, let's make gifts. And I was like into making like my own hot sauces at that point. And she's like, oh, make everyone hot sauce. I was like, all right. So I made a whole bunch. She had a girls' night at her house and a couple of her girlfriends over. And the one girl was like, oh, like my, it's her husband now, but her fiance at the time was like, I'm big into hot sauce. Can I get a bottle for him or whatever? He hits me up out of nowhere and was like, hey, if I pay for the ingredients, like, can you make me more of that hot sauce? I was like, for real? Like, it was kind of threw me off. So then I was like, all right, like, let me just start making it for kind of like friends and family and kind of like people would make like donations to me and I would sell them hot sauce. And then my wife, she's the one who kind of pushed me. She's like, listen, if you want to do this, like,
let's fucking do it.
Make it legit.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing like a supportive partner, man.
Yeah.
That's push you.
Yeah, so she technically right now she's our unofficial CFO because she is the one who has really kind of like in the past, like I want to say year and a half, I really kind of like hunkered down. I'm now in I think about 12 or 13 like retail spots in and around the Philadelphia area.
No shit.
And it was because like she kind of like pushed me towards like.
Well, you got something going, man.
Legit,
You said you have a couple more flavors than this. You have 5 right here.
Yes.
That's huge, man.
So I have 2 additional flavors that are kind of like seasonal, and the thing is like the process of like releasing a new flavor. There's a ton of paperwork, and I can't just like cook it up and like slap a label on it and send it out to like.
What goes into a new product?
So I have to get it approved by like the state and also the FDA. I have to send it off to a lab where they test to make sure like the pH is correct, so that like say like mold or anything like any kind of like bacteria or anything won't grow in it. Because you have to have the product acidic enough. So
right, so it kills off stuff that from sitting. Right?
Exactly.
It's like when people put preservatives in frozen food and stuff like that.
Exactly. But I mean, so like for the most part, the preservation in most of these is just because of like vinegar. Because if it's like acidic enough, then that will stave off like any like bad stuff growing in there.
Yeah, so. Interesting. Holy shit! So I did. That was actually part of my second question. Is like, how do you go to market, right? So you gotta get approved by the FDA, the state, and what's the next step?
So you have to get like the state to come out, Department of Agriculture, like to inspect your facility. You have to kind of like do a whole not like a business plan, but a whole write up of like your exact process. So even like
for every one of these?
Yes. So even though I mean like so the like cleaning and the sanitizing and all that kind of stuff is exactly the same for each one. Mm-hmm. So like that is pretty much like just copy and paste.
Right.
But like, you have to include like, yes, like I get in there, wash my hands, I put on a beard net.
Stop it.
You have to include all that in your
shit.
When you meet with the
I'd rather than just watch me make it. You know what I mean?
And like that kind of stuff. I'm like when I had the first time that they came out, I was like, oh yeah, and like they're like, oh yeah, you put on like a beard net, and I was like, yeah. I was like, well, you didn't tell me about that, and I was like, I didn't know I needed to tell you about that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's a learning process, just like anything else. Yeah, but that's amazing, man. I didn't like the fact that you could go through that for. Well, you said 7 now. You have 7. 2 are seasonal, but it's like that's 7 times. So it's like you probably know by the back of your hand now what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. I
mean, you working out of a ghost kitchen or your own kitchen?
So when I started off, was working out of my own kitchen, and then like in Pennsylvania, there's like Pennsylvania like cottage food laws where you can sell at like farmers markets and like that kind of stuff. And there's a little less paperwork that you have to kind of go through. Started doing that, and I was like, no, I want to like go legit here. And so I started working out of a professional kitchen. It's called the Hot Box. I know. It's 2 other hot sauce companies in Philadelphia, Faya Hot Sauce and Pickle Monster Hot Sauce.
Never heard of those guys.
They're excellent hot sauces if you ever come across them. But they opened up like their own kitchen and then decided to start doing like co-packing for other companies and stuff. But I rent there like a few times a month, and I go in and use their facility. I carton all my stuff and then cook out of there. So
wow. So I guess the natural progression of this conversation is like, which one started it all? So, well, actually, which is the one that the guy was paying you to do? Is that on the lineup?
So it's roughly on the lineup. It's this one right here. It's I'm pointing to him. We're talking on a podcast.
Yeah, but it's fine. I'll show it to the camera right here.
So when it comes on YouTube, you'll see it. But it's called Mad Jupiter. It's a red habanero garlic lime hot sauce. This is what I was making for myself prior to all this. The red habaneros have a little more heat compared to like the orange habaneros. Okay. And I think they're a little like more fruity. But I was making that for myself. When I wanted to launch this as a business, the first sauce I came out with as a business was the Whiz Wit, the cheesesteak inspired hot sauce.
The cheesesteak one. That was the one we covered earlier. This one right here. I'll show it to the camera. Whiz Wit.
Because I wanted, again, like people in the Philadelphia area, if you haven't heard of us.
Yeah.
Like, when I first came out with that, people were like, cheesesteak inspired hot sauce.
Yeah, because I'm not a big onion guy, so I was like, is it a pretty big onion flavor in there?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like, I feel it has good balance.
Okay.
Again,
we're gonna try them here later, so the audience will be able to hear it.
I make these for myself, like for what I like, and so everything is based off of like my palate.
Yeah. I don't hate onions. Like I'm not like, ooh, an onion. There's an onion in my cheesesteak. No, I'm just gonna eat it.
Yeah. No, this is not like.
And it's caramelized, so it's gonna taste good.
Yeah, and it adds sweetness to it.
Yeah.
That's really what like the onion provides in that.
Yeah, like the onions I don't like is like the chopped ones you get on like a burger at McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean like the crappy ones.
Did you know that the onions at McDonald's, they're not like chopped raw onions?
What are they?
They get like onion flake that you like kind of like can buy in like the plastic containers from like McCormick or whatever. Add water to them and let them rehydrate.
Stop it.
Yeah, swear to God. I was blown away when I found
anything
that out.
Anything to save a buck.
Yeah.
But so I talked about this on a previous podcast. As you can see, I'm not drinking a rainstorm today. I'm sorry, rain. I need to go to sleep tonight. I'm having a problem sleeping lately. Yeah. I drink that right now at 8 o'clock at night. I'm not going to go to sleep.
You'll be up until like 3 in the morning.
Yeah. So did you know that McDonald's is the only company in the world that gets their syrup delivered in big, like stainless steel containers?
I was aware of that because, again, I'm a nerd and I love knowing how things work.
Yeah.
And so apparently their syrup, how they mix it, it's a little bit higher than what you'd get at any other fountain soda.
Really?
So then as the ice starts to melt, it starts to dilute it, but it doesn't taste diluted because then it's like balancing.
I noticed that.
Syrup and like the liquid.
Because I'm a big, I like on my personal Instagram, I literally will hold up a Diet Coke. I mean, I'll go there just for a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And I put, if you know, you know. And it's because people know that the the hot soda at McDonald's is the best in the world.
Oh, it tastes so much better.
Oh, it's so good. And I've been on keto for on and off the last 2 years, but like 7 years. So like diet, I love soda growing up. You know, who didn't love soda growing up? So I transitioned to do diet soda, Coke Zero, but there's something about that Diet Coke. And then someone told me about that thing, and I was like, holy shit. But now what you said, when the water dilutes it, it still tastes the same. You know,
because it's a higher like syrup concentration.
That's amazing, man. So I love that you're a nerd, because now I know even more nerdy stuff about the Diet Coke at McDonald's. All right, so what was number 2?
Okay, so the number 2 that came out like when I officially became a business was the one I was making for myself, the Mad Jupiter with the garlic lime habanero.
All right. So where are you coming up with the names? Before we get into any other one, so Whiz-Wit and Mad Jupiter, like what's your thought process there?
Whiz-Wit, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a cheesesteak inspired hot sauce.
Yeah.
Mad Jupiter was actually named by my, he was 4 at the time, but my 6-year-old son.
Okay.
Because I guess he gets it from me. He's a nerd about stuff as well. And he was like, I made it, and I was like, I need to come up with a name with this. And he was talking about, he's like, oh, wow, it's the same color as the orange spot on Jupiter. Because Jupiter has like a storm cloud. And orange spot. And he's like, same color. He's like, but it's hot sauce, so it's probably angry or mad. And he was like, Mad Jupiter. And I was like,
Does your son name all of these?
No, he hasn't named all of them, but like,
because it sounds like he's on to some gold right there.
That was like that, just like hit, and I was like, oh, like, and I kind of, so like for the rest of my lineup, I kind of like leaned into like almost like the just like a short name, like a 2 maybe 3 word name.
Oh yeah,
Just kind of like, oh yeah, that Whiz-Wit hot sauce, that Mad Jupiter hot sauce. Like,
okay,
just it.
So before we dive into the third one, I just want to say, you have the most underrated prehistoric creature as a thing, like the woolly mammoth, right? Everybody, no one really talks about it, right? No one's really talked about the woolly mammoth. I feel like you're resurrecting it because like this logo is amazing. So for the people on YouTube, I'll put it on your camera here, and then I'll show people what it looks like. That's amazing, man, and that's like I said, it's very underrated prehistoric animal.
So the whole story behind that,
okay,
very similar to like the whole cheesesteak thing, working backwards from there.
Yeah.
I reached, like, when I wanted to start a company, I was like, all right, I need a logo or a name that catches your eye. When it's on the shelf, like, you're looking at it, you're like, wait, let me look a little bit closer at that, right?
Yeah.
So I had, like, a bunch of friends who were like, because I also used to make my own beer. Like, I used to homebrew and stuff.
So that makes the fermentation thing make sense.
Yeah, so I had a bunch of friends who were, like, big into, like, craft beer and that kind of stuff. So I reached out to them. I was like, hey, what, like, beer cans or beer logos have you seen that just, like, caught your eye and you're like, I have to try that because of the logo? So I was like, let me kind of work backwards and kind of like figure it out that way. Yeah. So I was talking to my one buddy, Justin. If you're listening to this, you're getting your shout out. Yeah. I hook him up with like hot sauce all the time. So he has, but he was like, well, if you're going to do a hot sauce, are you familiar with Star Wars?
Yeah. Huge Star Wars guy.
All right. So you know Boba Fett's logo, his crest, the mythosaur.
Oh, yeah.
He has the tusk coming down.
Yep.
It's like, well, what if you use that and instead of like the tusks, you replace it with like chili peppers? And I was like, I love that idea. I was like, I can't use like a Star Wars property.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, all right.
Well, you went face on because that's a sideways one, isn't it?
No, the one that he has is kind of like they go like straight down.
Oh, I thought it was sideways for some reason.
On
Mandalorian, I think it was sideways.
Mandalorian, it's I forget what the creature is called, but it has like the horns. Almost kind of looks more like a rhino.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused, but that's just because Star Wars. There's so much going on, but I see how you can't bite off it because you don't. That's the last thing you want is some copy from George Lucas hitting you up.
Yeah. So then I was like, all right, like what could I use that also would have a good sounding name? Yeah. So I was like, all right, like you have like elephant, rhino, like what else has horns or tusks? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, like what about like mastodon? But like are you familiar with the band Mastodon?
No, I'm not.
So they're kind of like a heavy metal band.
Okay.
They had a hot sauce that they came out with, and I was like, all right, I can't call myself Mastodon. I was like, well, what about Mammoth? I was like, kind of works into like you say like Mammoth, like they're known for like big creatures, big flavor,
right? And
then they have like the tusks, and like I think it would look cool with like the skull with the tusks, but instead of like the tusks, chili peppers. So
yeah, I love it, dude.
Kind of how we ended up there.
It's awesome, and it's like I said, it's very, very like underrated animal. Like you see him in Ice Age, that cartoon movie, and it just shows you like how big they were. They were like literally like the king of the iceberg. Like they're humongous. So that's awesome that you're kind of like resurrecting that. You know what I mean? Because it's like a lot of people. Like, oh man, I forgot about that. You know what I mean? And then it's like could be something they pick up off the shelf. They're like Mammoth, because like when you first followed Talkin with Tonka on Instagram, I think it was after. I want to say it was after the Johnny's Pizza episode, and I thought it said Mammoth like like the
Monmouth
college.
County, yeah,
like the college. So I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. And I looked at it and I was like, wait a second, this is Mammoth. And I was like, it's a hot sauce company, and I love hot sauce. I'm a big hot sauce guy. So I was like, this was like a perfect segue into why I wanted to bring you on. The logo is awesome, the name is awesome, and the names of the hot sauces are great. And you're wearing a Phillies hat, so it's like it's a match made in heaven right here.
There you go. Yeah,
I think I'm wearing a Phillies hat today.
You are.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Veterans Day hat, and that's one of the hats that like no one picked up on over there, and that's a shame because they were nice hats. But so third one. What's the third one?
All right, so I guess the third one I have here is it's called St. Malo. Sorry, it's this one on the camera if you're looking at it.
Okay, yeah.
So that was a very fun one to create. So this was not supposed to be in my lineup. When my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, was getting married, she's like, hey, can you for our wedding favors, can you make like a hot sauce? So like my wife's Filipino, her sister's Filipino.
Okay.
And she's marrying an Indian guy.
Oh wow.
But she was like, Carissa and Michael, and she was like, Michael's big into like buffalo sauce. So I was like, all right, so like, if I'm gonna do hot sauce for your wedding, I was like, Michael, what kind of like Indian dishes do you like? So he like told me like some of the dishes that his mom made and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I like looked up into like what spices goes into that. For the vinegar in that, I use it's called it's a Filipino cane vinegar. So like it's made from like sugar cane, and it's a little more sour. It has a little more kind of like you know how like vinegar kind of just makes you kind of like your mouth kind of like pucker a little bit.
Yeah.
The
smell of it makes me pucker sometimes.
So I use that kind of vinegar. I use calamansi, which is a Filipino like citrus. It's like you taste it. It tastes like a lemon, lime, and orange combined in one.
No shit.
And then I use like the Indian spices in there. And then, like I said, because he's like a big buffalo sauce fan, it's like a cayenne-based hot sauce.
Yeah.
And then the name St. Malo. St. Malo was the first Filipino settlement, actually the first Asian settlement in the United States.
Yeah.
In Louisiana. Okay. When I found out that fact, I was like, oh yeah, that's a perfect name for it because the first Asian settlement in Louisiana. It's a Louisiana style hot sauce with like Asian influence. So.
Yeah. So what's the symbol underneath it? Is that how you say it in like Filipino or?
No. So that underneath is and I'm gonna mess up. I can't think of the name. It's my brother-in-law Michael, where his family is from in India.
Okay.
It's their like script of like the word sauce.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome how you integrated it. That's awesome.
So in like the fade in the background is a symbol from the Indian flag, and then also a symbol from the Filipino flag.
That's the sun one, right?
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, my buddy's Filipino, so I recognize it. It's awesome, man. And like, so like back to what I was saying is like, so now, you know, someone that's walking around and they're a Filipino or Indian and they're walking by and they see your hot sauce in a store and they're like, wait a second, I noticed that logo. And that's probably like, say they just noticed the purple part, right? Yeah. Or the yellow sun. And they're like, wait, oh, and I noticed that. Like, so it's like, it's very relatable, right? Yeah. So it's like, not only is your logo eye-catching, now the way you're labeling them is eye-catching. So that's a way to set you apart from like Joe Schmo's hot sauce from down the block. You know what I mean? Because you have more relatable content on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always want to kind of like have it like, someone look at it and kind of like, even without reading the words, kind of get a rough idea of what it might be.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So we already went off 1, 2, and 3. Where's 4?
All right. So this is this one. It's I call it Rock and Mall. So like I played rugby from from when I was like 13, 14. I started my sophomore year in high school.
Yeah.
Up until a few years ago. I'm 37 right now.
Oh, okay.
So up until probably I want to say 35.
No one's scrumming with you. You're gonna kill them.
but one of the big things is like after like your match or after like practice, like you go back to like your local like clubhouse or your bar, and like if you're playing a match, like after beating the shit out of the opponent, you like, all right, come back to our bar. We'll give you food and beer and like just hang out. And like a lot of the guys like they would like order like different types of wings, like buffalo wings or like lemon pepper wings or like garlic parm wings, and like eventually by the end of it, like all those flavors were kind of like combined on the plate. Ooh. And so like this is a lemon pepper garlic cayenne hot sauce.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Holy
and
shit.
like obviously it goes perfect with wings. So.
Yeah, wow. And then I guess the last of not least is which one?
The Ghost of 76.
Ghost of 76, the one I picked up earlier.
Yeah, so like
a ghost pepper cheesesteak inspired hot sauce.
I'm not like, I like spicy stuff. I don't like stupid like insane spice. But there's a lot of people who out there who like that, and like
Yeah.
I had a few people like, I love it. I just wish it was a little bit spicier. So it is our Whiz Wit hot sauce, but I added like ghost peppers to it.
Why is it white?
Why is what white?
Why is it white? Like creamy, not like red, like a hot sauce. Why is it like white?
So it's still the Serrano and jalapeno based.
Oh, okay.
So that's why kind of like greenish, like a light green kind of color.
Sorry, it's not white, but so I'm a little colorblind, but it looks like that's white.
I think under like the white lights from
yeah. But that's definitely cool, man. And it's like that's very interesting because I like extreme heat sometimes, but only if it's tasty. If it's too extreme, then it's like, oh, this is fucking gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, for instance, I go to this wing spot. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I got Diet Coke. That's a canned Diet Coke, you know? So I go to this one bar for wings on Thursdays, and they have this 3-alarm one. Okay. No idea what's in it, but I can see like red chili flakes in it, and it's like more of a pasty sauce, which I love. I love pasty sauces. So it was like, and it's so hot, but it's not hot while you're eating it. When I'm done 10 wings, my mouth is white, and it's like on fire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like sucking on ice cubes, right? So I love it because it's tasty, right? So like but if it's like extreme heat and it tastes like shit, I'm not going to eat it. You know what I mean? Because I did the Buffalo Wild Wings challenge, and that was awful. That was the worst pain I ever went through.
So I don't like those like gimmicky, just stupid hot.
Right.
Like, a lot of those use like extracts.
Yeah.
So they kind of take like the spice out of the pepper and then just concentrate the heat and then add it to, and then like some of that stuff doesn't taste good. So like. I don't have it here today because it's currently out of stock, but I will probably be making it again in the spring. I have a Carolina Reaper based hot sauce, but I have it with pomegranate and like cherry juice and like.
So you kind of take the heat, like so it's
kind of
sting
like
out of it,
and hot, and then I also use the same like red habaneros I use in our Mad Jupiter hot sauce. Add that to the Carolina Reaper sauce. So.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing, man. I've always wondered how like hot sauce was made, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into that, how you made your first one, like what, like the light bulb and everything. But do you remember the first moment when you made a hot sauce and you tried it and you're like, this is it, like I'm on to something?
Yeah, no. I'm always like, I'm super self-critical of myself because I always feel like, oh, it could be better.
Yeah.
And
don't we all?
So like, I always feel like there's like room for improvement in like any of my products. But when we had like friends over and like my brother and I made, I think it was basically it was our Mad Jupiter hot sauce, but it was like slightly different. And my brother tried, he's like, this is so good. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, this is better than like the stuff that you can buy at the stores. Like what he was buying. I was like, really? I just thought it was pretty good, but like,
yeah.
And like the more people tried it, like everyone who has tried my stuff,
I'm excited.
For the most part, knock on wood, everyone has like loved it. So
yeah, I'm excited to try these. We're gonna dive into them way too early in the episode to be trying these, but I definitely want to try. I'm gonna get some croutons because I don't think the pizza's gonna be done. He slammed when I walked in, so I told him to get us a pizza, one of his special, like his regular pizza, like not any. Like, he doesn't do any like crazy stuff here. But I wasn't sure if you tried his pizza. And I really want you guys to. I want you to try it and make sure, like, give them a little bit of feedback because obviously you know how to cook things.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so too. Jeez. So you don't remember the exact moment you were like, because everyone was telling you, but like, what was like the time when you were like, I know you said you were like, you're doing different things, you're baking bread, you're doing these other things, but like what kind of was like, oh, maybe if I mix these two together, these three together, I'm gonna just see what happens. Do you remember that moment?
I mean, I feel like when I first started doing like the fermented hot sauces, I would just go into like my local like produce store. I go to Produce Junction, if you're familiar with it.
I know that one. Yeah.
And so they get like a good amount of like variety of like peppers and stuff, and like so I was just walking around there and I was like, I want to make some hot sauce. I was like, what do they have? I was like, oh, they have these kind of peppers. They have like, so well, if I add like this fruit into it, or if I add like these vegetables, they had like So the Mad Jupiter is actually with key limes, not just like regular limes, but like key limes.
Really?
So that's what they had when I went to like go shopping, and I was like, all right, I kind of feel like I have to like stick with that now, you know?
Yeah, but how do you like pick out what you're gonna put in it?
I was like,
just give it a whirl.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this probably sounds good. Like this should go good together, and like, I mean, I feel like you kind of like when you think about it, like there has to be like balance,
right?
You know? Like, you can't just have, like, just, like, straight heat. And I know, like, acids kind of, like, help, like, cut the heat. So, like, you have, like, your citrus, your vinegars. They can, like, help cut the heat. Then you also want to have like maybe like either like a sweet element to it. So either like if it's like with like onion, or I use like sometimes like carrots in my hot sauce, because like carrots don't add a ton of flavor, but they add like a little like sweetness once you like roast them. And just.
Do they extract any of the acidity or anything like that? Do you like does anything like extract acidity where you're like, oh man, I need to take less of that back?
I mean, if I have not had that like problem, but like if I had something that was like say like too acidic or whatever, then I'm like, all right.
Because like some people add baking soda to their spaghetti sauce, right? Or their gravy, as some people would say. So it's like that. Some people add like baking soda to it to knock down the acidity level. So is that something you're worried about when you're packaging hot sauces? Like, oh man, I know you got to get it tested, but like you're like, oh man, I probably should have added a little bit more of this or that.
Well, I mean, so like before each one like comes to market, there's probably, I think only like 1 or 2 hot sauces that I've had in my lineup only like had like 1 or 2 like iterations.
Oh, really?
Everything else has maybe had like a half dozen to a dozen like different like, all right, this is good. There's something missing. Like, well, how can I tweak this? This is good. Something's missing. How do I tweak it? So it's either like I remake it and like, because like when I'm coming up with a flavor, I'll do it out of my house and just do like a 1 gallon batch for like me, and then I'll just give it out to like coworkers or friends or like kind of
just trying to get like a taste. You have like a built-in taste testers.
Yeah, and like people love it. Like they're like, oh yeah, like
make it.
And he's like, oh, you made a new batch. Like, hey, do you need someone to taste test it? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, he's not going to take free hot sauce.
Exactly.
So I guess it's kind of like a learning curve, because when you're first starting, you probably have to learn what goes with what, right?
Oh yeah. And then like I realized because like I was looking back on like my like personal Instagram.
Yeah.
And like I think the first time I ever made hot sauce for myself was like, I think it was like 2014, 2015, around there. And I didn't know what I was doing, and like I was like, oh yeah, this tastes good. And like I went back and looked at the recipe and stuff. I was like, oh, there's not like people. I don't have a lot of salt on my stuff, but like salt does help like balance and then like just add flavor and kind of like salt's important in cooking.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think I had any salt on that, and I was like, there's something missing, and I was like, oh.
Salt.
Yeah, but like it's
you're in the kitchen salt baying it.
Yeah, but like I still try to go like very low sodium with all my stuff, but like still like you need a little bit of salt in there just to kind of like.
And I like how you're like how do you get the ingredient label? Like the nutrition facts. Is that something you go through when you do the state testing? No.
So there's I forget what the name of the website is. I have it saved on my browser, but like there's one where like you enter basically the ingredients, the amount of ingredients that you have. So it'd say it's like 30 pounds of peppers, like X amount of this. Like you put that in, you put in like how much you expect like people like so I'll put in like it's a 5-ounce bottle. I'm gonna say like a use is about a teaspoon. It's usually like, typically like what you see on like most commercial hot sauces. They say that 1 serving is 1 teaspoon.
Right.
You enter all that information and then like it generates the nutritional facts. Right?
Okay. And do these have to be refrigerated after or no? Refrigerate after opening.
So legally, yes.
Okay. What do you suggest?
Me personally, my hot sauce at home, I don't put it in the fridge, because I feel like when you put it in the fridge, it's the same thing with like beer. When you have beer that's like really cold, you actually don't get a lot of the flavor. Once it starts coming up to like not room temperature, but like once it like warms up a bit, that's like where like the flavor comes out. Do you ever have like a ice cold Miller Lite? It doesn't taste like anything. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
You ever have like a one that's like slightly warmed up a bit?
No, I don't like beer, but can you compare it to something else?
Okay, so Diet Coke.
Yeah.
You ever had like a room temperature Diet Coke?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
But you have like a cold one?
Yeah, and it's like,
But so like I try to make sure that it's like good at room temperature.
It's and good cold?
Yeah.
Got it. That makes total sense.
But legally, if you buy my hot sauce, refrigerate it after opening.
Yeah. Right? It says it on the label. Listen to the label.
Exactly.
Don't be a label raider. So, actually, I just made that up. Label raider. I don't think that makes any sense to what we were talking about. But so, before you started your hot sauce company, what was your go-to hot sauce?
I mean, I think it's the one that like everyone uses. Like Frank's was the one that got me into it.
Yeah.
I mean, but like now, like when I look back at Frank's, I love Frank's. I still have it in my house like every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's like very vinegary.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's funny in like the hot sauce community, people would just call it like spicy vinegar.
Yeah.
They don't call it like hot sauce, but
for sure.
It was like Frank's and like Tabasco kind of got me into it.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think like what Hanks out of Sea Isle. That was one of the ones I had that kind of like started like getting me into like the craft thing, craft side of things.
They have one. They have one that is like this color that I'm afraid to try because there's like an extreme warning on the label. It's called Iceman. Oh, it looks dangerous, but it's like white.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like afraid to try it. And it's expensive.
I'm kind of on the fence with like, you'll see like sometimes where like, oh, you have to sign a waiver if you want something spicy, or it's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff.
It's like gimmicky, right?
You just say if it's hot, it's hot. You know?
Yeah, literally.
Like there's like some hot sauces out there that like they call it like ass burner or like that kind of stuff. And then you taste it, and you're like, oh yeah, it's hot, but it's not like
it's like gimmicky as shit.
Exactly. Like they're just trying to. So I'm not trying to. In a certain aspect, I'm trying to like get people to buy my stuff just based off the label and the names, but I'm not trying to do like the whole like gimmicky kind of thing.
So are all these lineups available at your retailers that you're at now?
So it depends. So certain retailers only want to like carry like one or two of like my products. Some carry like all of them. So like one of my bigger ones is called the Head Nut. They're in Reading Terminal Market. They're also in Ardmore. They carry
someone that was just there that I know. That sounds familiar.
The Head Nut or
Head Nut. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. I mean, they do like coffee, they do like snacks, they do like a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't know why. I think I just saw that somewhere.
But they have a huge hot sauce selection, and they carry, I think, essentially my entire lineup.
Wow.
Some places only have like room for like one spot. So I always like recommend like the Whiz Wit.
Yeah.
So I figure like that is like if you're around Philadelphia, carry that.
Yeah.
And then I'll like they're like, oh, what else should I carry? And I'm like, well, it depends on like what you want to offer.
Right.
Me personally, I always like I usually suggest like my first two, so like the Whiz Wit or the Mad Jupiter, because they're kind of like my like two original ones.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, if you want like something that has a little more like kind of like different flavors or whatever, then I usually recommend like the St. Malo, the one with like the Filipino and Indian spices.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so that's like your sales pitch going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the thing is like I want also like these retailers like I'll bring bottles with me. You try them, tell me what you like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that makes
sense. I had this like one place that like the guy was like, oh, I want to possibly carry your hot sauce. I was like, all right. So I went over there. He like pulled me into the back of the store. They bake fresh bread there. And he like just pulled out a loaf of bread and he like just started trying them right there and then. And like
that's what we're gonna do today with Johnny's with his croutons. He does croutons with the cheesesteak rolls that he makes. Yeah. So we're gonna try that. But yeah, I'm excited, man. This is exciting stuff because it's kind of like. You don't have to sell me on them, but it's like you're giving me a taste test of what they're gonna like. But that'll be like the experience, right? Like you're trying to sell them to me, and you're trying to sell them to the podcast. And these are available online as well.
They are, yep. So on our website, mammothsauceco.com. We're like I said, we're in like around I think 12 or 13 retail spots in and around Philadelphia. We have that all listed on our website. If you want to buy my hot sauce from one of our retailers, go ahead. Like I want it in people's hands. So
do you do custom stuff? Like a custom order? Like if someone had an idea?
So yes and no. Because of the whole like paperwork that goes into it. So I did that one for like my sister-in-law's wedding. But that wasn't meant to like go into our lineup, but like people from that the wedding that got it as like wedding favors, like, oh, is this going to be on your website? Is this available? And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but everyone seemed to like love it. And I was like, all right. Let me like go into like the whole thing because like to send it off to the lab to get tested, each bottle I think it's like $300 to get it just for like, the testing process.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess everything costs money these days.
It does, and
it's how do they expect small businesses to survive?
Like the easy stuff.
You get like a discount. You submit to it once.
Well, I mean, so like usually if I do like multiple ones, if I do like say 3 or 4 at a time, the guy like does give me a bit of a discount. So
yeah. That's cool. I'm just like enthralled on like how, like each one like you come up with something different and something different. So how does the wheels keep turning? Like, is there a limit that you want to go to? Is there like a limit you want to stop? You're like, all right, this is it, and I'm only from here. It's like seasonal stuff.
Yes and no. Like so, I think. Like what we have here on the table today and what we kind of discussed is what is going to be year round.
Okay.
And there's a few seasonal ones that just because like I'm doing everything myself. Like I do like
we talked about
all the marketing, all the like I cook everything, I bottle everything. I'm a one person like operation. I don't have anyone helping me out. My brother sometimes comes down to help when I'm doing like the labeling. Mm-hmm. That's essentially like all the help that I've got.
These are pretty damn straight, so you're doing good.
And everything's applied by hand because to to get one of those machines that does the labeling.
Oh, dude.
Expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. I get it.
For me, the easy part is making the hot sauces.
Yeah.
And coming up with the flavors. The hard part is the paperwork side on the other side of things.
Yeah, the back end stuff that no one sees. And that's what we were talking off camera before we started when we were just getting to know each other a little bit. Is like I'm so behind on YouTube right now. Like I'm on episodes. So it was audio only up until my first started small business, right? Because I figured the small business, we should showcase what their business looks like, right? So obviously, yours is a little different because we're on location because I was trying to get Johnny involved too. So but they're here. They're represented here. You know what I mean? It's like on the camera. So I started with episode 36. I'm on 37 now, which is Johnny's episode. And I'm eventually get caught up. You're episode 45 technically, but season 2, episode 7. You get it.
Yeah.
I don't have to get into the logistics of it, but I feel like it's important to showcase the businesses. So like we were talking how like I'm a one-man shop. So it's like I'm doing the audio and then the YouTube clips and the YouTube picture and like the Instagram picture, the Instagram reel. It's like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then when I do an episode every week, and like so I was a week ahead, and then I took last week off to catch up, and I wound up being super busy last week. So I had meetings upon meetings for this other project I'm working on that we talked about earlier that I can't discuss yet, but we were talking about that, and I was doing stuff with them, and then Super Bowl, I was like, oh, geez, I'm just so overwhelmed right now. And sometimes that's good to take a little bit of a break, you know what I mean? So do you find yourself doing that? You get a little overwhelmed with like work, family, and now the hot sauce life where you just have to take a step back and you're just like, oh, man, I need to take a break.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, so what, for me, like, what the good thing about this is I feel like this is like very scalable on my end.
Okay.
So I can make as much or as little as I want.
Okay.
If I want to take time off, I take time off. So I have a 6-year-old at home, and I have a 13-month-old at home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, like, when the 13-month-old was born, I was like, I'm just going to take off a few months and kind of, like, sell out of, like, whatever back stock I have, and then kind of just, like, not, I didn't shut down the business, but I was like, whatever I have in stock, that's it. I wasn't posting on, like, social media as much, but I was like, I just need to take some time off and kind of...
Yeah, chill. Your latest video was kind of funny with the FedEx driver.
Oh, so I am perfectly fine, like, making things, like, editing pictures, all that kind of stuff. I am extremely uncomfortable in front of camera. I am extremely uncomfortable, like, talking, like, making reels and stuff.
Yeah.
But I realize, like, if I have to, like, sell my stuff, like, I need to put myself in front of the camera and kind of step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And, again... something else that like my wife like pushed me to. She's like, you just got to put yourself in front of the camera.
Yeah, you're on
like,
2 cameras today.
If you're just like, if you feel awkward, that's fine. People can relate to that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, so. Trust me. The first, like I was kind of, I kind of was weird, talking like this before. Like I could talk all day to you on the phone, text, over game chat on Call of Duty, and DJing and talk to a crowd. But I was like, can I do this? Like, is this something? And people are always like, yo, try it. Just try it. Just try it.
But it's like once you like do it. It's
it's like second nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I used to like play in bands like growing up.
Oh yeah, what kind of band?
Like pop punk, emo, that kind of stuff.
Love pop punk music. So I do my own pop punk night at Stateside.
I saw that.
Yeah, I got one coming up March 9th, my next one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun.
But I would always like get like so nervous and kind of like get in my head like right before like we'd go on stage. But then, like, once we'd get out there, I was fine.
Were you guitar, drums?
Bass.
Yeah. Slapping the bass.
Yeah. My brother played
Paul
drums. Yeah, exactly, yeah. My brother played drums. And,
oh, wow. Okay. So it was like, was that something like a high school thing, or?
Yeah, it was like, for me, it was high school.
Yeah.
My brother's band, like, they made it pretty far. They did, like, Warped Tour. And that
no shit.
So, like, when they went on Warped Tour, I was, like, their roadie. I was, like, their merch guy and that kind of stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
What was their last Warped Tour?
Oh, God, now it was probably, like... 10 years ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it was like the recent one, the last one in AC, or
no, it was before that. I think
before that one.
It was when they were still doing like so they only did like the East Coast tour. So I think it was like
that's still amazing.
A year or two before the final.
One of my still a good buddy of mine, grew up with him, is a drummer in the Starting Line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like me and him did the DJ drummer thing for like 4 years.
Did you happen to do that at Kavanaugh's River Deck?
Yeah. That was us. Yeah.
So I remember going down there, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like it's the drummer from the Starting Line."
Yeah, he had the blue drum kit then.
Yep.
The Direction drum kit.
I don't know if my brother knows him or not. I know he knows a bunch of people in like those kind of like bands.
Yeah,
and stuff.
that's funny. Small world. Yeah.
As soon as you said you like did a show with him, I was like,
Yeah, we
used to being down at Cavanaugh's.
Yeah, we used to do every other Saturday, or it's like one Saturday a month we did there, because we got pretty popular pretty quick, and like that's when I just first started DJing. Like I was DJing, but I wasn't like doing like big clubs. I was doing River Deck and stuff like that, but like that took me to like the next level. We were doing like big shows, and people were trying to book us like Barker and AM. I'm no DJ AM, like I was trying to be, you know what I mean, as best as I could. And then life happens, and we kind of grew apart a little bit. He went with another DJ for a while, and they did their thing. I think we had a better thing, but what are you gonna do?
Funny though. What a small
world, man. And like I still follow them today. I went to their show with Newfound Glory and all at the Man.
Okay.
They play with Newfound Glory. Drawing a blank. They didn't headline. Someone else headlined.
I'm familiar with the show. I can't remember who else was on that line.
Yeah, me either.
And they just recently opened, or not opened, but they played at a Wings game, was it?
Yeah, I went. I was there.
I had a couple of friends who went down to that.
Yeah, I got one of my buddies is the in-arena host there. He got me 3 rows off the glass right next to where they performed. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
And this girl, the girl I'm dating, Griselle, from Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
And loves the starting line. So
really?
I was like, what are the chances of that? One, they were really big in Florida, though.
I wasn't sure how big they were, because I know that they're from like the Bucks County area.
Yeah. We grew up in Croydon. So like I grew up in Croydon until about 12 years ago. I moved to Manayunk. But she loves the starting line, Taking Back Sunday, Yellow Card, all these bands. And I'm like, where did you come from? You're a 39-year-old Spanish girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like you love emo, pop punk music. It was such a random thing.
I feel like that was like a very like kind of like Philly/New Jersey thing.
Yeah, but it's such relatable music.
That was like what I was. I mean, driving over here, that's what I was listening to. I have a playlist that like I realized I don't listen to any new music. I just listen to the same stuff I listened back into like the like.
Do you have your own playlist, like your own Spotify, like pop punk playlist? I would love to hear it.
I'll send you the link.
Because I'm always looking for new jams. Because like I haven't created one just for my pop punk parties. Because like a lot of the stuff, I have to use Spotify to get it. Because you can't, like I can download it, but I can't physically play it, if that makes sense. So I can't bring it into my DJ program.
Gotcha.
So I'm using Spotify, but I'm mixing in it with my DJ program to make it look like I'm actually DJing, because sometimes Spotify is the only way I can get the song.
Yeah.
Or I rip it off YouTube and the quality sucks. I'm not trying to do that. And it's, to be honest, you're at a pop punk party, you're playing the full record anyway, because you want to hear the full song. You're not done screaming yet. You know what I'm saying? But I forget where I was going with that. But it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, I'm always looking for other stuff, because every time someone comes to my pop punk party, the pop punk party that's never been there before, they're shitting me requests that I never heard the song before, and the song's a banger, right? Yeah. Like, so it's funny. I always like to hear people's version of pop punk, because you might have a hidden gem in there that I'd never heard before.
Yeah, I kind of like leaned a little more towards like the emo screamo stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But that was like, I think like my playlist I have, it's like something like 40-something hours or something.
Oh, snap. I would love
because I just keep on like, oh yeah, like, is this song on this playlist? And I was like, I'll go check. I'm like, oh, it's not, and I'll just add it.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that when I'm driving. Sometimes I'll be adding stuff, because I'll listen to, like, before my party, I'll listen to like Newfound Glory Radio, Starting Line Radio, Yellow Card Radio on Spotify, just to find those hidden gems, right? That, because I really try to keep it pop punk, right? Because like I want to do different than emo night. I'm not trying to like have you sad and crying.
You want people like dancing,
right? I was dancing, singing along. I'm also thinking about adding karaoke to it. Because like that would be hilarious, one, and people can relate to it, and they're not going to be, because they're already screaming it anyway. Oh, just throw them a microphone.
Funny enough, when we were just talking about how like the Starting Line did the thing for the Wings, that same night, because if it wasn't for this, I probably would have went to that. It was my brother's birthday, and like he like reached out and he was like, listen, for my birthday, so we're like friends with a ton of like musicians and like people in other bands and stuff. He's like, I'm writing up a set list. It's gonna be like anywhere from like 15 to 20 songs of that genre. Yeah. He's like, and he is like, because he has a studio in his basement and stuff. He was like, you pick what you want to play. You want to play bass, you play bass. Guitar, you play guitar. Drums or mic, and you pick whatever. Like you just sign up. It was like an Excel, Google Doc. Yeah. And so like on that night of his birthday, like we had like just basically people playing music for like 2-3 hours straight.
This is a jam session.
Yeah, but like you like, all right, what's the next song up on the list? Like, all right, like Melissa, Keith, Joe, you're up, like that kind of thing. So
and you got to know the song, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
like,
awesome.
He like sent it out like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. So like,
yeah, you have a lot of people show up.
His basement was like I think he had like something like 30 or 40 people in his house.
Holy shit!
And he lives in he wouldn't like me saying this, but he lives in Bristol. He calls it like Newportsville.
Yeah.
You know where the Newportville is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives right down the street from that. So like if you put his address in like Google Maps, it says Bristol.
Yeah.
Oh, you live in Bristol? He's like, no, I live in Newportsville.
Yeah.
Like,
no one wants to say they live in Bristol.
It's the same thing.
No one wants to say they live in Croydon.
So it's like he has like a not like a huge house, but he has like it's a decent size, but like the basement was like filled. And,
yeah,
like,
that's awesome, man. Yeah. That sounds like a dope party, actually.
It was a great time, and I was like, this is the first time I played bass in like I want to say probably like 6-7 years.
How'd that feel?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm like, all right, I bought like new strings for my bass, and like
I kind of sparked it a little.
Like, oh, do you want to start playing again?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, life, I guess, you know.
Exactly.
But now it's new, it's really strong, ready to go. You can start slapping it whenever you want. Is that an instrument you can just pick up and just start playing, just to play, just to relax?
For me,
yeah.
Yeah. So I got this thing. It kind of plugs into like the input, and you can like plug your headphones into it, and then like plug like your phone into it. So then like I'll just put on like a song.
And just play along.
Yeah, and like you don't need an amp or anything like that. And,
oh wow.
Like, yeah.
Are you good like ear wise like that, where you can just play a song after hearing it?
No. Me, it's a lot of work, which is one thing that like not frustrated me about my brother, but like he just was like, oh, he'd pick up a guitar and he like in like 3 minutes he would like figure out the whole song on like.
That's amazing.
I'm like,
I used to be able to like that with the drums. Like I played the drums for like 10 years, so like I was able to hear a song. And then I could pick it up, like at least until like the second roll, and then I'd be like, "All right, I gotta listen to it again just to get the fills and stuff like that." But the natural beat of the song, I can pick up just hearing it one time.
That was like something that like was a lot of work for me.
Yeah,
it was super easy for my brother, but like, that's why I was like, "All right."
That was like my brother with sports. He was a lot better.
But then like the hot sauce thing, it's like coming up with like the flavor stuff. I'm like, it's easy for me just kind of like, all right, I think this goes together, like
you found your instrument.
Exactly.
That's it. The kitchen. The kitchen's your instrument.
Exactly. And then I enjoy cooking as well. Like just like my wife will like, oh, like she like when my wife cooks, she cooks just for like necessity out of like just like feeding.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, that looks really good. Like that recipe, like, oh, let me try this like Gordon Ramsay recipe. Or kind of like it's like, I want to try this like spice or this kind of like herb or kind of like I haven't heard of this before. Like I wonder what that tastes like. Do you know what I mean?
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you definitely found your instrument, and it's well, I guess it kind of goes with your engineering a little bit too, because you have to engineer these hot sauces. So that's where your nerdiness comes in. Cause you're
I like the, like
breaking it down.
You have like the science side of things where you kind of have to make sure that it's like acidic enough. You have to like good balance and stuff. But then you also have like the creative side where you can kind of like, or well, what if I like add like this spice into it, or like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm going to do right now, we're going to leave everything rolling. I want to go grab those croutons. Do you want to start cracking these?
Yeah.
And then we'll jump right back. All right, we're back. I took a little pause to grab some croutons. We're going to try these hot sauces. So let me just have some napkins here. So if you're going into a store, right?
Yep.
Which one are you going to sell me? Which one's the first one up you're going to try to sell me?
So it depends on if you're not a hot sauce person.
Okay, I'm a hot sauce person.
Yeah. So for you, I'd probably say let's start off with the Whiz Wit.
All right, let's do it.
Our first one. So
all right. I'll grab a crouton here. And do you have an amount that you suggest? All right. Do you want to do one too?
Yeah, I'll do it with you as well.
All right, cool.
So then I can kind of just a refresher on the flavors that go into it and like whatnot. So
all right, here we go. I'm gonna try it. Cheers.
So it has like a very like oniony but like sweet kind of flavor.
Real ASMR here.
Yeah. It has like heat, but it's not like over like powering.
Wow. I'm gonna be honest, man. It tastes like a hot sauce cheesesteak with hot sauce on it.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I know that out of like the big like the OG like cheesesteak places, one of them has their hot sauce.
Yeah.
They sell. It's a cayenne based hot sauce. There's nothing like I'm not trying to trash it, but there's like nothing like unique about it. It's a very like, and so that's why I was like, I wanted something that was like that stood out, that was like kind of you know.
Yeah, I get it. You hit the money. I can't wait to try that one again.
Yeah.
So what's the next one up?
So we're gonna go with the Ruckamole. That's the what is that? The cayenne lemon pepper garlic one.
Okay. I'm excited here. This is good. That cheesesteak one is gonna be hard to top. All right. You gonna do one too?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Ooh, it smells good. Oh, I'm excited. This is good.
So this one was actually there's a hot sauce specific podcast called The Heat Source.
Okay.
That they said this was their favorite wing sauce of 2023.
No shit. Okay, let's try it. Cheers.
So you get the lemon flavor.
Mm-hmm. Right off the bat.
Yeah. And like you get the cayenne. The garlic's very subtle, but it's there.
Wow.
I mean, you can see like how obviously like.
I know there's a little bit of garlic on this crouton, so it might ruin it a little bit.
Yeah. But like you see how like that kind of like
you get the
like,
lemon right away.
You picture like the hot sauce like of like different like wings sitting there, like I said, the lemon pepper,
right.
the garlic, the cayenne.
Yeah.
That's kind of like all those flavors kind of like melded together. So.
Wow. That's really good.
So this is the next one we're doing is the Saint Malo, which is the one with the cayenne with like the.
I'm gonna grab one with like a plain piece of bread here.
Yeah. So this has like the Indian spices and like the what's it called, the Filipino citrus.
Okay. Oh, got a lot on that one.
That was a
generous pour. I can't wait to try it. I'm excited.
This one is also kind of like a lot of people who have like had tried this one. I've had numerous people say like, oh, this is like their favorite hot sauce.
It smells great.
I've had people like look up. I don't know how they got my personal cell phone number. I had someone call me up. I was like, hey, I bought hot sauce off you at a farmer's market. Can I get some more? I was like, how did you get my phone number? Like, oh, I just Google searched your name. And I was like, oh, okay.
Immediately went on high. Wow.
So even though it's like the same base as the one that we tried previous, the Ruck and Mall.
Yeah.
It's the same cayenne peppers I use. Same ratio for like peppers to vinegar.
Yeah.
But it's like such a different flavor profile with like the spices and stuff on there. So.
You get hit after you like.
Yeah.
You get that sweet in the beginning and then it hits you, man.
So it has like the Indian spices in there. Or yeah, that's kind of want to do it. But like for the sweetness, I use agave nectar as well.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't want to use just like straight sugar.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So if I have to add any sweetness to my sauces, I'll usually go like agave nectar. I know it has like a lower glycemic index, and it just I think it has a better like flavor.
Yeah. Wow.
You get like a more sweetness for like less, like the less amount of like sugar that kind of like goes into it. So.
I love that one. That was like real nice in the beginning, real cool, and then it hits you, man.
So this is the next one up. We're doing the Mad Jupiter, which is the red habanero garlic lime.
Okay.
This is like the one that I was making for myself prior to all this.
Yeah. Alrighty. I like the color already.
And this is like, for me personally, this is like my preferred like flavor profile and like heat.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoy all my sauces. I make them for myself. But
yeah,
like I said,
definitely.
This is the.
All right, here we go. Delicious.
Very citrusy with the lime. Now, like those red habaneros, like that heat kind of does creep up a little bit.
Yeah, it just creeped up on me now. Not as much as this one, but wow, dude.
If you eat a lot of this, it builds.
Oh yeah, just like anything else, right?
Yeah.
Wow. What is that I'm getting in the beginning there?
So it's honestly it's habanero, garlic, and lime. So it's
I'm getting something there in the beginning. It's like refreshing again, like the other one.
probably the lime maybe.
Yeah, and now it's hitting me now that I swallowed it.
Yeah,
back of my tongue's on fire.
Habaneros, I feel like kind of have like a more like overall like mouth kind of burn. Yeah. Like the cayenne and like the jalapenos, I feel it's like more of like kind of like a tongue kind of burn.
Yeah.
But habaneros are a little more like.
Yeah, so I noticed that with this one, my tongue didn't burn, but the inside of my mouth did. This one burnt my tongue a little.
Yeah. So and then the next one we're gonna do is the Ghost 76, which is the hotter version of like the Whiz Wit.
Okay.
It has ghost peppers, and I noticed like the ghost pepper. A lot of people say they feel like the heat kind of hits like the back of your throat as opposed to like.
I just washed my palate out with my DC, so let's hopefully that helps. Is this the first time you ever did like a hot sauce taste test, like with all your hot sauces?
Where I'm doing it, like I've done it at like farmers markets, and I've had like friends over and had like friends kind of like go through like taste testing. But
you should probably do like one of those. What's that show? Hot Ones challenge with all your stuff.
So, I did reach out to them.
Oh, really?
I was like, you know what? This is I figured like 2024 is the year where I'm just gonna like shoot my shot. Like I want to try to like reach out to like some like these bigger like grocery stores. I reach out to Heatness is the one who kind of handles like the lineup for like Hot Ones and whatnot. Yeah. A friend of mine, his name's Sam. He's actually is the number 2 hot sauce in this season.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which was like big news and like
he could probably get you a plug.
Well, he's friends with a lot of other like companies, and like everyone wants to, like anyone who makes hot sauce, ultimately you want to be on that show because it's great exposure.
Oh yeah, that one I wanted to try, the bomb, whatever it's called, but I heard it's like it tastes awful. It's just really hot.
That one is, we were talking about this earlier, but that one is they use extract, so it's not just like fresh peppers. Like all mine are made from fresh peppers. So
I
like,
love that.
But yeah.
All right, here we go. This is the goes to 76, right?
So it has like the same flavor profiles as the Whiz Wit, but I find like
it tastes like a little mustardy to me. Well, hot as fuck, but
yeah. So the heat kind of hits you like later on, right? And that's like the ghost peppers. It's like the exact same flavor, but it's like an more intense heat.
Yeah, wow. But I got like a mustard flavor off the top there. Kind of reminded me of like a spicy mustard.
Oh yeah. Well, wow. I know that I kind of a few episodes ago, I think it was either the one that you did here or the one that you did with Chase Yu.
My mustard on the eggs.
You were talking about mustard on the eggs, and I was like, that's a little.
Have you tried it?
So I had a breakfast burrito 2 weeks ago, was it? And I got one. You know, that was it golden spicy brown mustard.
Yeah.
So I used that on there. And I was like, all right, actually,
yeah,
I think you're all into something here.
Yeah, there's a mustard I prefer. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. When we wrap, I'll look it up online. I forget the name of it, but it's like a deli mustard. It comes in like a pretty big thing. It's like $3-4 for like one squeezy bottle. It's kind of expensive, but it's really good. It's like when you're on a diet, man, you're trying to. Oh my god. Woo, that ghost pepper is creeping, boy.
And then it's probably also like the compounding effect of like all of them as well.
Wow. This is what it feels like to be on Hot Ones.
So like throw the ghost pepper one on a cheesesteak, and like obviously.
Yeah, I'm about to do it right now. If you haven't tried a cheesesteak here, it'll change your life. It's so good. Yeah. Wow. I wonder why I'm getting that. I got like a mustard flavor to it. Maybe it's the vinegar, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I mean, also as well, like for personal use, I've like made my own like mustards before.
Really?
And like mustard is just like mustard seed, vinegar, and like usually like water is usually like, the like base of it. And mustard can be like, if you use like cold, this is like such an interesting like weird thing. Like mustard, if you use cold water, it comes out spicier than if you use like hot water.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I didn't like look into the science of it, but like
I would love for you to dive into the science of it.
Yeah. But there are like a lot of hot sauces that do have like mustard in there. Like you have like a lot of Caribbean hot sauces. Like, like use mustard in their sauces and stuff.
You a big mustard guy or no?
I do. I'm a big like spicy or Dijon mustard.
Like, what's your favorite?
Pretzel Factory.
That like you talked about
the Pretzel Factory extra hot mustard.
Oh yeah, I love that hot mustard. It's got horseradish in it.
It does.
Yeah,
I love horseradish too. So
there was a like corner store where I grew up in Port Richmond before you moved to Croydon. Right. Oh my God, my tongue. So it's right by the school. My dad let us walk. Gave us. Yeah. We had a tab there, so everybody knew my dad where we grew up.
Yep.
So he gave us a tab. We just go in, order whatever you want. They write it down. My dad pays the bill at the end of the week. He made us kind of do like a loop. We passed there. We passed by his work, checked in with him, and then walked to the next. We only live like 5 blocks away, so we walked a block to the store, 2 blocks to him, checked in with him, and then 2 blocks home. Right?
Yeah.
Me and my older brother. So we stopped this place, and it had this spicy mustard that would literally clear your nostrils. It was so good. I can never duplicate it. I can never find it. But it was that place isn't even open anymore, so I couldn't even tell you like what it was called.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just I'm Polish, so it was like this Polish brand mustard. It was so hot. Like I'm telling you, like you had a runny nose. Do this a couple times, done.
Whenever I start feeling like a little sick or stuffy or whatever, I'll either like go to like spicy mustard, horseradish, or I have one of the. So you're familiar with Hot Ones?
Oh yeah.
So you know the last dab that they have.
Yeah, I love
it. I have a bottle of that at home, so I'll maybe just do like a teaspoon of that just to like.
We had that at a DJ get together, and everyone was like, "Oh, you won't try this on a wing?" I literally layered my wing in it and ate it. And everyone was like, "Are you nuts?" I was like,
"It's hot, but like that actually, like those like last dab hot sauces have like a lot of like good flavor to it."
Oh yeah,
so it's not like I said, the bomb beyond insanity. It's just extract. It's just for heat purposes.
That's it.
But everything else in their lineup, which is a cool thing about Hot Ones, is other than the bomb, all the other hot sauces you have to use peppers, not extract. No preservatives. No, like gums, like xanthan gum or anything like that.
So how do you feel about shows like that? Do you feel like you should finish the whole wing? for each one?
It depends.
Okay.
I think it makes good content.
Yeah.
Like if you're familiar with like the show, like are you familiar?
Yeah,
with
yeah. I used to watch it all the time, but I stopped watching it.
You seen the DJ Khaled episode? Mm-hmm. I think he got to the second sauce, and he got like kind of like he almost threw like a hissy fit, where he was saying like he's like, oh, you're trying to prank me, and like the guy Sean was like, it's like no, he's like you made mine spicier than yours. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, we'll switch wings. Like you can have my whole thing, and like the things, and he refused to eat like the rest of them, and like the guy Sean ate like the rest while he was still asking the questions. I still think that was like a great episode because it kind of just like
kind of showed you how intense it was.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I feel like, especially the people that go on and they eat like the vegan wings or something, and like you don't even need to eat it off the bone. Like I feel like you should make them finish it because then you get that make the challenge a lot harder. Yeah. They're taking one little nibble of it. Yeah, I mean you're gonna get a little bit like that little bit. Like my tongue is still feeling the wrath, but it was like. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a challenge.
Yeah. So you said that, like our Ghost 76, like that has like good heat. I want to say, from what I'm familiar with, like if it was in like their lineup, it would probably be in like the middle of their lineup.
Really?
Like, some of the ones they have on there get like really.
I always wanted to try that because you can buy that from Heatness. You can buy like the little ones to try or whatever. You know, I would love to try that. That'd be awesome. Because I used to go to this place. It's not around anymore. It was called Just Sports, I think, in Bristol.
Okay.
They had made this sauce called the Knockout.
Okay.
It was incredible, but it was homemade. It was kind of like a pastier sauce, just like I like. I used to get their Knockout fries with the wings, and it was like unbelievably like tasty, good, but so fucking hot.
Yeah.
But it was good. I would love to know what that would rank on there. But obviously, you never tried it, so you wouldn't know. But it was like unreal. But it was so good, and that's what I like about hot sauce. It's like it's either good, tasty, where you don't need to pair it with anything else. Like, so like I'm not gonna lie. When I make my eggs, I put Hank's and a little bit of sugar-free ketchup, right? Just to kind of cool it down a little bit. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think which one I would pair with my eggs right now. If I'm being honest with you,
like, I mean, a lot of people say like they like the Whiz Wit with the eggs.
Okay,
I think it's like the onion and like the nutritional yeast and like there's just like a lot of like flavor going on there.
Yeah,
but then also like either like the St. Malo or the Ruckamall, they're both like high end base. They're both like I don't want to say they're comparable to Frank's, but they're like kind of in like the same wheelhouse. So you know, people like just put like Frank's hot sauce on like whatever.
Yeah. You ever think so? Actually, before I ask you this question, Mammoth Sauce Co.
Yes.
Where do you see it in 5 years?
Yes, everyone this, and I was like thinking about that. I was like, originally when I first started this, and it was kind of like getting into like once I started like putting myself out on social media and like connecting with other companies and stuff, and like a lot of companies that I'm familiar with, like they want to be like across the country and that kind of stuff. Honestly, I want to be just known in like a Philadelphia household name.
Okay.
So you know how you have like what's it called? Hank's Soda.
Yeah.
That's like a local like soda company. You have like Dietz and Watson Meats.
Right.
I want Mammoth Sauce Co. to be like, oh yeah, that's like a Philadelphia brand, and kind of like I wanted it to be on like tables in
I love
like,
that. Yeah.
restaurants, and that's kind of like the push I'm trying to make right now is like I'm starting to like reach out to like different restaurants like, hey, like do you want to carry my hot sauce? So like actually just recently, are you familiar with Lucky's Last Chance?
Yeah. So, I know Barnes really well, Chris Barnes.
Okay. So I was in their Manioc location.
Yeah, it's right down the street from my crib.
So if you asked for like, oh, do you have any hot sauce? They would bring out a bottle of my hot sauce and they would have it, and you can
no shit.
Food.
I did see that on your gram.
So they rotate monthly with like the hot sauce companies they use. They had me in there for 2 months.
That's awesome, dude.
But they'll like use other like
technically they could bring you in 5 times.
Yeah. So they had what was it? Our Whiz Wit and our Mad Jupiter.
Wow.
So if you asked for hot sauce, they would put out those 2 bottles on the table.
This is what I was kind of like trying to like see where your head was at, right? For like stuff like that, because like I thought, you know, maybe something you guys could do with Johnny. Maybe he could try the hot sauce to see if like, oh, this one would pair really good with this pizza, because he does a Mike's Hot Honey pizza, right?
Yeah.
And he does really good cheesesteaks here. Like maybe you guys can come up with something, and like he can put you on the menu for like a month and try to help. You know what I mean? And that's like this whole thing of small business I'm trying to do is just like connect the dots of people, trying to help you get the name out there, because like you're onto something here, man. Like,
I mean, I'm trying.
This is unreal, and like we're gonna talk off camera, because I have a couple great ideas for you if you're willing to listen. Like I'm not anybody, but I have a couple great ideas because like why not pitch this to bars?
Well, that's kind of what I want to start doing.
Okay.
Is like my thing is like I want to kind of start where like more local to where I'm at.
Right.
And like pitch to kind of like bars and restaurants up by me.
Yeah.
It's because like distribution wise, I'm also the person who like delivers everything too.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like I'm loading stuff in the back of my car, driving it to like
I noticed that. Yeah.
With the owners, meeting with like whoever like
You're a hustler, man. I love to see that.
I'm trying to. I work a 40-hour work week and I do this.
What do you do during the day?
It's a government job. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I have some government friends, so I get it.
It has good benefits.
That's all you need, man.
Like good health insurance.
You got a 13-month-old. You need that.
I'll be able to retire when I'm like in my mid-50s.
God bless you.
And so I'm happy with staying there doing that and doing this as like a side.
That's all you got to say. I appreciate you even answering that. So
yeah,
if you could pick, I guess, so your 5-year plan is be a local name, right? Yeah. So what if like hypothetical, but obviously hypothetically speaking, could you make this into a packet form? Like one of your, like say, Whiz Wit, could you make it in a packet form and like put it on like how they do with the ketchup at like the ballpark?
Yes and no. I wouldn't be able to do that with the how I manufacture it.
Right.
But a lot of things, what you see with a lot of companies is as they start to expand, either they will move into a bigger facility or they'll like do they'll work with someone called like a co-packer. So like with a co-packer, you'll go to like a company that already has like the facility and they might make like condiments like mayonnaise or ketchup or other things for other companies.
Right.
You go in there, you give them your recipe, you like sign like NDAs so that they can't use it for like their own like they can't like make your hot sauce and then say like, oh, it's our hot sauce now.
Yeah.
And like those type of companies can potentially do that, but it also costs money to get in those type of things and like.
Yeah, I get it.
Like I would love to like
Could that be your 10-year plan?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Once it's a household name, I feel like it'll be easy.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something. I really do.
I hope so. I mean, that's
we should create a mustard.
Yeah.
Because like I watch this guys on YouTube. There's these 2 young kids. They buy cars from Copart and they make cars, right? They rebuild them and shit like that. And I've been following them since I had a day job. So how long ago was that? It's like 6 years maybe ago. And they partner with a hot sauce company. They have a barbecue now, a bacon seasoning, and it's called Dang Son, which is like a chipotle lime barbecue sauce. I use it on burgers. It's really good. Not that I first when they came out to it, I reached out to the people. I'm like, "What's your carb count?" Because I'm not going to waste 5 carbs on a teaspoon of something. You know what I mean? Because he has a ghost pepper ketchup. I would love to try, but it's got a high carb content.
I mean, well, you were talking about like different ketchups. Like ketchup is like very sugary.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a sugar-free one, like you were talking.
Right.
about.
Yeah. Because like that, So is that hard for you to do? Are you trying to make your stuff like not carb friendly, but like low in sugar?
Yes and no. So like I am trying to keep everything like low in sugar, low in salt, as low as possible. I try to like acid wise keep it to like just the bare minimum because sometimes like too much vinegar just it
messes you up.
It kills the flavor and like it also can just like some people don't do well with vinegar and that kind of stuff. So like I don't like the Whiz Wet. It's vegan. It's because I had friends who were vegan and like I wanted like that cheesiness, so I used nutritional yeast. I'm not trying to be like a vegan company. I'm not trying to be like a low carb, low salt like kind of company, but that's always in the back of my mind.
Because a lot of people out there are conscious in that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you're paying attention to it.
Well, that's the thing is like I want to make my stuff as accessible to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So what was it? It was I'm trying to think I think it was the St. Malo hot sauce. So I use agave nectar in there.
Yeah.
Originally, I was going to look into like maple syrup or like honey.
Ooh.
But and I mean they all have like similar flavor profiles.
Yeah.
But like the honey, then that would exclude anyone who like doesn't use like any like thing with like vegans or animal products and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like agave nectar.
I think they still use honey. Vegans.
Some do, some don't. I think.
Okay.
I think vegetarians use honey, vegans don't.
Oh, okay.
And I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, don't come at me.
Yeah, I'll come at him in the comments, everybody, because we both have no idea what vegans do and don't. I should know. My ex is vegan, so I should know, but I don't. But I'm pretty sure she used honey, though.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah, I wish I knew that, but I'm pretty sure because I think bee's not an animal; it's a bug.
Well, I mean,
That's fine. Yeah. I'm not going to get roasted in the comments for that.
Exactly.
Well, I definitely appreciate you making the trek out here. I'm going to try to get you some pizza. I don't know if he's still backed up or what. I definitely want to try this on some pizza.
Okay.
I really think that would be good. We're going to do that off camera because they probably had enough ASMR this episode for sure.
Us crushing on croutons.
So what's it like balancing, well, now your new dad life and then your son and then your family life, right? The hot sauce life and your daytime job. Is it a lot for you?
Yeah, but it's like I enjoy this, and like I said, like I've had like many like passion projects in the past.
Yeah,
and this is one of the ones that actually is like so I've been officially a business since like late 2020, 2021, early 21.
I love pandemic businesses, so it's perfect.
And 2023 was the first year that I have actually like ended the year on a profit.
That's great.
Like I was like just barely breaking even, or just like slightly in the red the past couple of years.
They say that you do that in the first 5 years, you're on to something. So,
and I mean, I was looking at the numbers. It's only a couple $100 in the profit, but it's still like. So I was like, all right, this is not like, because ultimately at the end of the day, like I'm thinking about like my wife and kids, and like, I'm like, if I have to like wrap this up and then it just doesn't like go anywhere, like at least I tried and put it out there.
Yeah, that speaks upon your character as well, because like how you're afraid to step out of your comfort zone and everything with getting in front of the camera.
Yeah. So
this shows what kind of hustler you are. You're like, at least I tried.
And like you have to look at like every like business that is successful, they just chose not to quit at a certain point.
And you know where they started? In their houses.
Exactly.
Normally. Look at Apple. Started in a garage at someone's house. So you started at your house. Now you're in a bigger kitchen. Now you got, well, technically 7 sauces. So it's like, you're onto something, man.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're killing it. And that's why, like, when I was going through your gram and looking at your story, and it's like, I was like, this guy needs to be heard. Because I was like, the logo is phenomenal. And the names of the sauces, and I love how your son named the one. That's like a story. I think that might be the clip.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, that might be your clip.
I mean, I try to, like, with everything I put out, I try to have, like, a story for, like, there's a story behind everything.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it.
It's just not like, I just threw a dart at a dartboard and I was like, all right, this is our company name. Like, it's like, I want an eye-catching logo, so I work backwards from there.
Yeah.
I wanted to, like, get myself known in, like, the Philadelphia scene. So I was like, let me start with the cheesesteak hot sauce and work backwards from there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I definitely hope Johnny calms down a little bit, because I definitely would like for him to try your sauces.
Okay.
And like maybe that's something you guys could do, like that, because I really feel like if he can somehow make this into, because his cheesesteaks here are phenomenal. So I don't know if the Whiz Wit or anything would work, but like maybe one of these other ones, man. I feel like he could, like, you guys could be a good pair where he can like bring you guys in. Obviously, like he could bring you guys in and like try it with something, because like I was like when I first look at a business, I try to see how it relates to me and how I can make the conversation flow, and we talk and do these things. And then when I saw it, I was like, I love hot sauce. I know he does. And I know he likes putting it on pizza. So do I. And I was like, I put it on my, like, people hate on Geno's, right?
Yeah.
I love their hot sauce. I go there just for their hot sauce. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's fucking delicious.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a dark red. I want to say it's a ghost pepper, but it's fucking hot. Yeah. You know what I mean? Have you ever had it?
Yeah, I've had it.
Do you know what's in it?
I don't.
Could you guess why it's so hot?
I think it's so from like the color and like the taste and everything, I do think it's like cayenne based.
Okay.
But I think there is like either like they're adding like habaneros into it or something.
Yeah.
So you kind of get like a more of like a, because I look at it as kind of like where you get like the burn.
Right.
So like, I feel like ghost peppers, they kind of hit you back of the throat. Habanero is kind of like full mouth.
Yeah.
And like I feel like for me personally, when I try it, it's like kind of like more a full mouth kind of thing. So
yeah. So people hate on going to Geno's, but I go there just because of the hot sauce, right?
Yeah.
I love Phillips. You ever been to Phillips?
I have not.
26 and Pass Young.
Good things about it.
Yeah, they have another one. Great hot sauce. I love their cheesesteak too. So shout out to Phil's. I want to get Phil's on, because that'd be a dope podcast. Because I go to their cheesesteak place 4 a.m. So they probably know me by name in there. They're Florida Inside Out. You ever had a Florida Inside Out?
I've heard you talking about it on a different episode, but I have not had it.
They're so good. But it's like those things that you pair it with.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, this has got to be something. This is gonna be a good pairing. So I'm definitely make sure we sit down and talk to Johnny on the way out. So I think it'd be a good thing for you, because like he's popping right now. So I was like, what's that hot sauce I can put on there? Oh, it's Mammoth Sauce Co. You should check him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like it's a It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday night, and like,
bro, ever since
we just had like steady people just in and out the door here.
It's wild. He went from selling 18 cheesesteaks a day to 80, just because of the Chase U review. You know what I mean? He met Chase through me here on the podcast.
He
does great things for businesses.
Like, you always throws him off when you call him Chase because, like,
I know him as Doug. Yeah. So so it's funny. I call him Doug when I talk to him, but when I'm talking about him to other people, I call him Chase because everyone thinks his name is Chase. But I forgot you knew him before. But Doug, shout out to Doug. He listens every once in a while. This will be a thing if you see if he's still listening.
If we don't hear anything from him, then we know that he wasn't listening.
Yeah. Right. Good old Dougie. Because I like, and that's an also thing I like to do with this podcast is like use other people as co-hosts, right?
Oh yeah.
But I like to when it's only me and you, and like I don't really know you. I like doing it myself sometimes. But like I said, I wanted to bring Johnny in because he's one big guy on ingredients and fresh ingredients. And I thought you guys could have had a really good conversation over ingredients. But obviously, you can see he's slammed back.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it. So.
But he's another one. Fresh ingredients. When he runs out, he's out. So it's kind of, do you work that way too? Do you use everything you buy?
Oh yeah, like when I go into like cook a batch of hot sauce. Like I said, I usually like go and buy like all my produce the night before, go in and I use up like essentially everything I have, and then that's it for
that batch.
Yeah, exactly. So if I make like 20 cases, then that's it. And then
how long does that take?
A cook day. It really depends on which hot sauce I'm making because like some ingredients are a little easier to process. So the cheesesteak ones, because it's like the onions and like the peppers and there's more produce in there and it's more just kind of like prep work, and like those take a little bit longer. But like on a cook day, probably like anywhere from like 5 to like 8 hours.
That's not too bad.
But it's like on my feet the entire time, and like, when I have like the sauce cooking, like when I like basically am done like cooking all the ingredients, throw it in the pot, let it cook down. Then I'm like sanitizing all the bottles and kind of getting like my filling station set up and all that kind of stuff. And then it's just to like save time so that I can like get back to like my wife and kids.
Yeah.
I do like all the labeling at my house.
Okay.
Because I don't need to do that at the facility because like everything's already like bottled and sealed up at the facility.
Yeah.
At home, do the labeling like.
You ever mix up a batch by accident? Like put this sticker on this one by accident?
I had it happen once, but I caught it before I shipped out what I was
okay.
Because like the Wiz, or not the Wiz Wit, the St. Malo and the Rock and Mall, very similar color profile.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, wait, which one is that again?
Well, these the both Whiz Wit ones, the Ghost 76 and Whiz Wit kind of look the same too. This one has a little more peppers than you can see, but
yeah. I mean, and the Ghost 76, that is like our most recent one, and like now that like kind of like a little more established and kind of like have like my system like figured out. Now I have like kind of like set up like, all right, this is like all the Ghost 76 in this like I have like shelving in my garage that I have
so just to clarify, so the 8 hour day, 6 to 8 hour day, how many sauces are you making in a day?
So the last time I cooked was.
It sounds like we're like a drug company.
Yeah.
Last time I cooked, so we're like a Breaking Bad episode.
The kitchen I cook out of, Faya and like Pickle Monster, they use that essentially Monday through Friday. I have a 9-to-5 job, so like I do my cooking on the weekends. And the last time I cooked was 2 weeks ago. So these were actually made 2 weeks ago, these 2 hot sauces. And I think I made, how many cases was it? It was 30-something cases, 12 bottles per case, so yeah.
You're cooking.
I mean, I'm trying to like make the most of my time there. Because I pay by the hour, so I'm...
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. Oh, shit, yeah.
Like, and the thing is, like, I want it to like last me month, 2 months, 3 months of what I have, so that I'm not like have to cook again.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
I actually just sold like for like individual sales. So if someone goes on my website, they can buy like bottles of the Whiz Wit, but I don't have any more cases of it that I can sell to like retail spots right now.
Okay.
So like I have to go in and like cook more of that probably in the next like 2 weeks, because
So when you buy on the website, can you buy like a variety pack, or do you got to buy them individually?
Yeah, so on our website, we have all our bottles listed individually. I have basically what I've found, like people say what their favorites are. So I have a 3-pack, which is the Whiz Wit, the St. Malo, and the Mad Jupiter. Mm-hmm. And so I normally sell them for $10 a bottle. That's kind of like the going rate for small batch craft hot sauces. Some companies will sell them for $10 a bottle. Yeah.
Okay.
Some companies will sell them for like $11, $12 a bottle. Some will sell for $9, but like 10 is kind of like the standard for like the industry.
Yeah.
But I'll offer like 3 of those for like $27. So you kind of like get a little bit of saving.
Yeah, $3.
Yeah,
it's enough.
I mean, it's like for like shipping too. Like I offer free shipping over $35. But just because like I'm offering free shipping, it doesn't mean the shipping costs nothing.
Oh no, it costs something.
People are so used to like Amazon and that kind of stuff, like where they're like, oh yeah, it's free shipping.
Yeah, as soon as you say that, it's like
I know.
ding ding ding, light goes off in their head.
Yeah, so
I automatically want this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I more power to you, man, and I hope the best for you and your family with this because you're onto something. Like I said, it's so tasty. I definitely appreciate you coming out here. Like I said, drop your. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. That's hot sauce. It's still creeping up on me. Now we had a little bit. Shout out your website and your Instagram for me.
So, website, mammothsauceco.com. All social media platforms. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X Threads, at Mammoth Sauce Co.
Okay, great. And that will be on the description. I'll also hold it up to the camera here for you guys to see. And here's the cool recipe stuff that he's got going on. I'm definitely gonna share this one because I know some people like hummus, so this is gonna be good. But I definitely appreciate you coming out here and making the trek. Like I said, this is gonna be episode 7. It'll air. You're gonna be airing this week, Thursday,
awesome.
8 o'clock, which is 2 days from now. So
sounds good.
This has been Talking with Tonka. You can make sure you catch me on all my socials at Talking with Tonka on just Instagram because that's all I really use, to be honest with you. But if you look up Talkin' with Tonka on your streaming platforms, you will find it. Just make sure you put the little apostrophe after the N and Talkin', you'll find me. YouTube page is updated to episode. By the time you hear this, episode 37 will be up there. And then hopefully by the end of the month, you can catch the video version of this. But it will be out on all streaming platforms on Thursday. What's today's date?
The 20th is today.
Okay, so the 22nd. It'll be on all streaming platforms. Thank you all for tuning in, as always. Been talking with Tonka on location here at Johnny's Pizza in Bryn Mawr. Thank you all for tuning in, as always. Peace.